Hello everyone, welcome to Everyday Essential series of Shantha Lakshmi IAS Academy. So today in this video, let us discuss the topics of 6th August 2025. First, we are going to discuss about the India UN Global Capacity Building Initiative, and second about the Prime Minister Internship Scheme, third about the Global Plastic Treaty, and finally African country mapping, that is Zimbabwe. So starting with our first topic, that is India UN Global Capacity Building Initiative. So regarding this, the first tranche of the four projects under this project has been launched on August 1st, 2025 by the Ministry of External Affairs Secretary, that is by Sri Tanmaya Lal. So let us see what are these first four projects of this phase one of this India UN Global Capacity Building Initiative. We'll see the first four projects and let's dive into the India UN Global Capacity Building Initiative. So the four projects which have been announced on this August 1st are this. First is with the Nepal. That is the rice fortification and supply chain management in Nepal. That is with the support of the UN World Food Program. And second project is a digital health platform for Zambia as well as the Lao PDR with the support of this UNDP. And third project is the census preparedness in Belize, Barbados, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago with the support of this UN Population Fund. And fourth comes the vocational training program for South Sudan with the support of the UNESCO. So these are the first four projects which have been launched on August 1st, 2025 as part of the India UN Global Capacity Building Initiative. So we'll see what is this India UN Global Capacity Building Initiative. So this initiative was launched in the year 2023 in the month of September during the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly. So, what is the purpose and what is the aim of this initiative? See, the name itself tells us that India UN Global Capacity Building. Capacity building initiative. So capacity building means to give training to the personnel or any other technical expertise, that is to train these countries in these four countries in terms of these four projects, okay, with taking the support of these international organizations. So the main purpose is to support the human resources of the countries, particularly to achieve the sustainable development goal. So what is the purpose? To give training to these countries to achieve the sustainable development goals. So for this, India has partnered with the UN India and the Bill and the Melinda Gates Foundation. Also, it supports this initiative through a Indian platform, that is the ITech, Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation. This is the platform or the flagship platform of the Ministry of External Affairs. Ministry of External Affairs. Through this platform, India will provide the technical services or also the knowledge to the other areas, the Indian expertise to the other countries. So this is about the India UN Global Capacity Building Initiative. Next comes the second, that is the PM internship scheme. So why we are discussing now? See, there is a share of female application surges to 41% in the second pilot, in the second round of the government's flagship internship scheme from 31%. See, during the first round of receiving these applications for this PM internship scheme, there were only 31% of the applications received from the female candidates. But now in the second round, round two, it was increased to 10%, that is 41%. Now, in the round 2, this PM internship scheme has received applications from the female candidates, that is the up to 41%. So, let's see in detail about this PM internship scheme. So, this scheme was announced in the budget 2024 to 2025, and this scheme comes under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So, what is the purpose of this scheme? The name itself tells us that it provides internship opportunities to 1 crore youth in the top 500 companies for a duration of 5 years. This means this scheme duration is 5 years, but the internship period is for 12 months. A candidate can take the internship, can avail these internship opportunities in one of the top 500 companies for a period of 12 months. And in this, one condition is that at least half of the internship period must be spent in the actual work environment only. So 6 months. At least 6 months, the interns have to spend their time in the actual work environment or the field area, but not in the classroom. So this is one condition under this internship scheme. And coming to the company's participation is voluntary here. There is no mandatory directive for the companies to take the internship, to recruit the candidates through this internship. The company's participation is voluntary here, and these companies are selected through their CSR activities in the last 3 years. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs will analyze the company's CSR activities in the last 3 years, and regarding that, it will select the top 500 companies. Now, coming to the benefits of this scheme. So, through this internship program, the intern will get the monthly stipend of rupees 5,000 total. Monthly stipend of 5,000. So, in that, first, the company will give rupees 500. And after the company gives this rupees 500 to the intern, the government will directly transfer this 4,500 rupees to the intern's account. And next, along with the monthly stipend, there is also one-time joining grant of 6,000 will also be given for incidental expenses also. And it is also, the interns are also included under the insurance coverage under the schemes of PM Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana and the PM Suraksha Bima Yojana. So apart from the monetary gains and the insurance coverage, the interns will get the 1 year real work experience, and also they will get the exposure to the diverse job roles across sectors, and they will also get the opportunity to work with India's leading companies and the professionals, so that their public relations will also improve. Now coming to the eligibility criteria. So who are eligible to avail this internship program scheme? See, the candidate must be the citizen of India and should be the age between the years of 21 to 24 years as on the date of application, 21 to 24 years. And he or she should not be employed full-time in any job, and he or she should not be enrolled in any regular full-time education. No regular full-time education also. And he must be the pass out of 10th, 12th, ITI, diploma or any degree. And see here, they should not be enrolled in any regular full-time education. But the candidates or the interns who are in this online or the distance learning programs, if they are learning or doing any degree through this distance learning programs, they are allowed. And the family income must be less than the 8 lakh rupees per year. So these are the eligibility criteria. They have also given the ineligibility criteria. So what are these? See, the graduates from IITs, IIMs, National Law Universities, Triple ITs, and the National Institute of Designs and the ISERs are not eligible under this PM internship scheme. And also the candidates with qualifications such as CA, CMA, CES, MBBS, BDS, MBA or any master's degree are also not eligible. And the students currently enrolled in any government run internship or the apprenticeship programs are also not eligible. And anyone who has completed training under the the National Apprentice Training Scheme or the National Apprentice of Promotion Scheme are also not eligible under this scheme. And the candidates whose family income exceeds 8 lakhs, these are also not eligible. And also, if any member, see, any member of the family is a regular or a permanent government employee also, those children of this family are also not eligible for this PM internship scheme. So these are the eligibility criteria, benefits, and the ineligibility criteria of this PM internship scheme. And third comes the Global Plastic Treaty. So do we have this treaty now? Do this treaty exist now? No, it is in the process of negotiations only. This treaty is not yet finalized, but during this August 5th to 14th, there is this Geneva plastic talks are going to happen in the Switzerland. So in that, more than 190 countries are gathered to reach agreement over this first ever global plastic treaty for drafting the legally binding framework to end the plastic pollution, including in the marine environment. If successful, this will be the second installment of the fifth meeting of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee of the United Nations. So we'll see what is this INC5 and what is the Global Plastic Treaty. So this global plastic treaty's mandate was first initiated by the United Nations Environment Assembly in its fifth meeting. Which was held in Nairobi in 2022. So there in the UNEA fifth meeting, there it passed a resolution to establish this INC, that is the International Negotiating Committee, to develop and adopt what to adopt? This international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution, including in the marine environment also. So the birth of this global plastic treaty was took in the United Nations Environment Assembly meeting in the 2022, where it passed a resolution to establish this international negotiating committee for having this legally binding plastic treaty, which deals with the plastic pollution, including in the marine environment also. The focus of this plastic treaty is this focus on plastic production, design, use, and the disposal. And it aims to reduce the virgin plastic production and encourage reuse, recycling, circular economy, and sustainable alternatives. So this is in the negotiation process only. If it is fully adopted, we will have the final document of this, what it includes in the global plastic treaty. But remember, it is going to be the legally binding. The countries must focus on reducing this plastic pollution if this global plastic treaty will come into effect. So now coming to the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee round. See the INC 1. So the UNEA in its fifth meeting, it passed a resolution to establish this INC, right? So the this meeting was happened in the March 2022. So after that, in the November to December 2022, INC 1 meeting was held in the Punta del Este, Uruguay. There, they set the negotiation framework and the work agenda. So first time they met with this International Negotiating Committee, and they discussed what is the framework of this negotiation and what we have to do, the agenda of the work also. And the second INC meeting was held in the next year, that is in June 2023 in the Paris, France. And there they discussed the options for the what should be the treaty include and what is the scope, what is the jurisdiction of this treaty. And after 4-5 months, INC 3 meeting was held in the Nairobi, Kenya, that is in November 2023, where they deliberated on the zero draft of the treaty. So here they discuss the treaty content and scope, and here they come up with the draft of the treaty also. And the next year INC4 was held in the Ottawa, Canada in the April 2024, and they negotiated the critical elements of the treaty text. They negotiated means they discussed with other countries. Some countries have not agreed to some points, and they again amended, and for that amendments also, some countries have not been agreed. So then the INC 5, that is the fifth meeting, INC 5.1 was also held in the December 2024, Busan, South Korea. They thought that the final treaty, they brought the final treaty, the text of the final treaty with all the amendments mentioned in the last INC 4, but here also they could not finalize this treaty due to the disagreements over other countries during some topics or the contents or the jurisdiction. So now in this INC 5.2, which is going to be held from August 5th to 14th, everyone is hoping that every country will come to a conclusion, and there will be a global plastic treaty is coming into the fruition. Let's hope for the best here. And out of 193 countries of this United Nations, around 170 countries have agreed, including India also. Some with the other countries have concerns regarding the some contents of this treaty, and now they are going to finalize this treaty. So now coming to final topic, that is Zimbabwe. So till now we have discussed about the South Africa first, and its borders Namibia, Botswana, and now it's Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe, also the landlocked country in the Africa, its capital is Harare, and its official languages are 60, with including English also. And this Zimbabwe is its eastern part, extreme east, is of fully mountainous regions only, and its highest point is Mount Nyangani. Here you can see it is a Mount Nyangani, and here Mount Bingo. Here it is full of mountains only, and it is situated on the elevated platforms. And the world's largest waterfall, that is the Victoria Falls, is also present in the Zimbabwe on its extreme northwest. Here you can see Victoria Falls, which sources water from the Zambezi River. And coming to the border countries of the Zimbabwe are, see, South Africa here, Mozambique here, Zambia, and small portion of this Namibia, and also this Botswana. And coming to the major rivers, that is the Zambezi. Here it is the Zambezi, which shares its border with the Zambia, and next the Limpopo. It is this river divides between the South Africa and the Zimbabwe, Limpopo. And the Lake Kariba is also present in the Zimbabwe. Here it is Lake Kariba. It is the world's largest artificial lake and the reservoir by volume. It is here the Lake Kariba. So that's all for today. Thank you.